Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Rio, and today we got lesson 8. We're going to be talking about the resource war, just how it ties in to the match, and cases where the resource war really does not matter, and, we're going to talk about trades, all that stuff. But mainly resource war and stuff related to it. So, let's get right into it. First of all, let's just go over what are your resources. Your resources are overall like your revives, your forts, your VAs, your zeal, your group heals, right? Pretty much a lot of support type of cards is what you would consider like your resources, right? I wouldn't consider this backstab like a resource, okay? But I would consider like a fort or a revive a resource, okay? Resources, for the most part, they help you stay alive. And for the most part, you want to be ahead on resources over your opponent. If they've used 3 revives and 5 forts, you would hopefully want to have used less so that you'll have more revives and forts over them and be able to essentially win the resource war. So what's the resource war? It's just simply exhausting your opponent's resources, pretty much. Like, how to win the resource war is pretty much exhausting your opponent's resources while you still have some resources. Now, one more thing about winning the resource war and how you can, simply win it, right? Make your opponent use resources is stuff like doing something to put pressure on them, but without having to use resources. So maybe you move a musketeer up into bomb range, but there's no Nausicaas or anything that they can like punish you, so you don't actually have to fort him, and get them to potentially use like a fort or something like that. Use a fort or use something to try to counter pressure you without you having to do anything is a big way on how to win the resource war, right? So ideally, it's about getting positive trades. So if you have an engagement with someone and you use 2 revives and 1 fort, ideally let's hope that they used more resources, or at least more valuable resources than you did. So let's just go over how you do win the resource war. If you play conservatively and you stall your opponent's forts out, maybe by barricading them, by reducing them when they put forts on, while not using any forts of your own. Overall, you really want to win this resource war, and you want to conserve your heals, VAs, forts, everything when you can, and use them when they're necessary. Now, the other quick thing I want to talk about is just simply, sometimes it's worth not winning the resource war to get something like map control. So you might go, okay, I've used 2 more forts than them, but now I have map control. Now I'm backing them into a corner. Now they're going to have to start using more forts than I am because I'm putting pressure on them, right? Or using resources to win the companion war. If you can get the companion advantage by a few, but sure, you've used a few more forts, forting Nausicaas and whatnot, that's another thing to consider, because overall the resource war is about winning endgame, and if you have less resources but more free companions to just shoot at them for free in endgame, it's all just a balance of figuring out what's worth it. So you do not just want to win the resource war, and I want to be clear on that, because when I was editing this video, I realized it did kind of sound like that. Resource war is not the only thing that's important, so is map control and other things, so it can be worth to use resources to gain map control. So just wanted to point that out. Now, I will briefly talk about like VAs and heals are oftentimes used to survive early combos, same with group heals. It's better to use a resource than to have a companion die for the most part. So if you're going to if one of your companions is really low, it's a lot of the time going to be better to VA them than to just let them die, unless they've already gotten their value and you don't really mind. Maybe it's like an Exeter, he's already used all his cards. Okay, cool. It's not as worth it. But if you have an Exeter getting comboed, he's not used his reduce, he still has 2 slows, go ahead and save him. Use resources, right? Use resources when necessary, but try not to waste resources. Your resources can be the key to winning, but I want to talk about a situation where they're not. So I'm going to get some of my accounts on the sigil and just show you a quick scenario where resource war is not going to matter at all, and how playing for resource war can actually lose you the match. Alright, so I got my other accounts pulled up, and I'm going to do a move. So, I have my units halfway across the field, I'm trying to pressure them, and then let's just say that so let's just pretend the team that I'm against, I mean, it's myself, but let's just pretend that, they're trying to win the resource war, so they send up their musketeer, but they do not fort him. The issue with this is that now he's vulnerable. So you guys are going to see in a second how I'm actually going to be able to kill their musketeer, despite the fact that they barely moved him up. So they're going to, you know, when you try too hard to win the resource war, you can make very, very, very big mistakes, which I'm going to show you here in a second. We'll just move the musket line up. I'll just play this like how I would this turn if I was going to, you know, do this move, right? The issue is opponents can focus you down with absolutely everything and one-shot you. All right? And the issue is, you know, if someone gets an early kill on your pirate, it doesn't matter that you're winning the resource war. You could be up by like 5 forts, but when you're down a pirate, you're not in a good situation. The only time going down a pirate can kind of be fine is in end game when not much is happening, right? And you know, you might only really need 2 pirates to win. Oh shoot, I just realized I actually just forgot to send my Nausicaa. Oops. Well, anyway, let's just assume this pirate died, because I actually did not calculate that correctly. Okay. That is a bit embarrassing. Let's just assume this pirate died, despite the fact that, you know, maybe this is like mid-game and I've already used it. So the thing is, winning the resource war, in this case, let's say it's mid-game and the team with the musketeer, let's just say is dead. The team with the musketeer is dead. They've used 1 fort and I've used like 5 forts or something, right? The fact that they have a dead pirate means that the resource war doesn't matter. They should have used the fort. They should have protected the pirate, but no, they decided not to. So this is just an example where the resource war really doesn't matter when you literally get like a pirate killed, or if you're down like 5 units or something. It's like, yeah, you're winning the resource war, but you're losing the actual war. Okay, and this is a mistake that I'll make. You try too hard to win the resource war, and then you end up getting your pirate killed, or you get like a valuable unit like Nausicaa killed from just being stingy on resources. So that is something to look out for sure. You want to win the resource war, but you do not want to be over cautious on your resources and end up having a pirate die, you know. So I guess the lesson for this is really just win the resource war, but do not be an idiot and spend a bunch of resources, but also don't underspend your resources and have it to the point where you die because of it, or have something really bad happen because of it. So yeah, that's it. Just a brief touch on the resource war. Pretty basic concept. Just you want to save your resources and use them only when necessary. And yeah, so that's it for this video. Peace out.